You're the best. Thanks, Lauren.
It worked.
All right. Bye.
It's working. Should I turn it sideways, maybe?
Please.
You can't turn your phone
Yeah,
while
turn it back.
recording. No, wait.
Turn it back.
Turn it back. Okay.
Hi.
Anybody out
Everyone.
there? But now they all can only see the wall.
That's right.
Oh, there
We
are
have
people.
viewers. Hi.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
Man, this was tough. We had a really hard time getting on here. We were supposed to be on at 4 p.m. Central Time.
Yes, indeed.
But
And of course,
we are late.
Here we are.
Fashionably.
How are you guys? We can't see your comments. So, what are you doing?
Oh, I don't know. You can hit that.
Hi.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Yeah.
Okay, what can I do?
Nothing.
But okay.
There's comments coming.
We did it. Yes, we did it. Okay, we're almost ready for...
So, hi. We're the Secret Sisters.
Hi, everyone. This is, we're a little bit in a weird angle.
Yeah, you're too close to me.
I'll just scoot back a little so that we can...
Okay.
So you get to see this beautiful wooden wall behind us.
That's right. Thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you to American Songwriter for hosting us for this live stream. Sorry we're late,
Yes, we're the worst.
but we figured it out.
Technology
and
is hard.
We have a few songs we want to play for you, a few from our newest record, and one from our record before this one. And we hope you guys are doing okay out there.
Yeah.
And we miss you. We miss playing songs. We miss playing on the road. But this is the next best thing.
Very much so.
And we're thankful for platforms like this that allow us to do that. So,
Should we sing?
I think we should sing.
Since we're 30 minutes late.
Yeah.
This is a song off of our new record, and it's called Cabin. A fire rages inside me. It does Streaming is so weird. We did make it, Tracy.
We made it. And we actually have some questions that were sent in from American Songwriter about these songs that we're playing today. And we're going to answer them.
Yeah, we are going to answer them.
The first one is, what was the process like for writing your new record, Saturn Return? I would say it all kind of came in waves, but it was inspired by like just a few events, major events in our lives. Our grandmothers both passed away within a week of each other. And so several songs on the record were inspired by that. We both became mothers, or we were trying to get pregnant at the time, so several of the songs are inspired by that. But this one that we're about to, or that we just played, Cabin, you want to talk about the inspiration?
Cabin is Cabin is a song that we wrote.
It's a bit of an outlier.
Yeah, it's an outlier. It's a little different from what we normally write about, but we were writing songs for our new record, and we were hanging out. We had kind of gone on these like songwriting retreats, and so we would go away for like 2 or 3 days, hole up in a cabin or a house or wherever we could find, and we would stay there and just write, just kind of like maniacally. And we went to this cabin on a lake down in the middle part of Alabama on Smith Lake. And we were working there, and we were trying to stay out of the noise of, you know, the world around us. We were trying to stay off of our phones and not be distracted by all the things outside of us. But it was in the middle of the Brett Kavanaugh hearings. And of course, that's a very polarizing, controversial topic at the time. And there were a lot of people that we love dearly on both sides of that conversation. And it just felt like at the end of every day when we would finish writing, we could not escape the dialogue about, the Me Too movement and sexual abuse. And we wanted to write about not necessarily sexual abuse or even Brett Kavanaugh, because we didn't want to really kind of tread into that water. But we wanted to write about what it means to be a victim of someone else, especially someone in a position of power. And especially from the perspective of a female. So even though the song doesn't have really a gender assignment, in our minds we were writing from the perspective of a female. But unfortunately that song, it just feels like a topic that will be a really hot topic for a little while, and then it'll kind of disappear from the public, kind of awareness. And then some other horrible story will surface about, some abuse of some kind, usually sexual abuse. And we were just as frustrated by that when we wrote this song as we are now. And it's frustrating that it keeps being a problem, and that people who are in positions of power can act in this way and have these things these choices that they've made that they're not sorry for, and still be given power. So we wanted to write about that really lighthearted subject matter.
Now to something more light,
not polarizing at all. So this
this is a murder ballad.
Yeah, we're gonna segue from
trying to be a little bit more light
into murder. This is a song that was on our third record that we put out a couple years ago, and we don't typically write songs that are fictional. We tend to write all of our songs from a very personal perspective, things that we've gone through ourselves. But this song was we're talking about the gift of songwriting and the work of songwriting, of course, because we're doing this for American Songwriter. But one of the things that we tried to do to kind of stretch our muscles and learn and grow as songwriters is to write from perspectives that are challenging. And so this was one of those songs where we wanted to just tell a story that we made up in our head, and we really have very little experience with that kind of songwriting. So this is a murder ballad that takes place in Mississippi, and it's called Mississippi. All my life, I ain't never been a lucky man. Saw the back of my daddy's hand. Lost your mama to the promised land. In my time, I ain't never had a thing that's mine. Till they handed me a baby fine, my little girl. There are only two things I know. I get ugly when the whiskey flows. Wanted you to know I love you so, and I would kill before I let you go. Take it all from Mississippi, where is someone else's name? Brought you in this world and I can take you from it just the same. If you leave for Mississippi, I will beat you at your game. Brought you in this world and I could take you from it just the same. My dear one, heard you whispering your plans to run off to marry some rich man's son. I bet he's never met a poor man's gun. In the darkness you could not see, the drunken devil interrupted me. 2 bullets in a crimson sea. Now I'm certain that you'll never be. Take it all from Mississippi, where it's someone else's name. Brought you in this world and I could take you from it just the same. If you leave for Mississippi, I will beat you at your game. Brought you in this world and I could take you from it just the same. Ooh. Grief and sin, when the righteousness of you sets in, and the blood in my veins begins to ramble on. Now I know we can stand and judge the execution man, but we all have to make a trembling stand before the sun. Maple tree, can your branches carry me before the war, before the wine, before I stole what wasn't mine? Can you bring my baby back to me?
Thank you.
Oh, Friday.
We have another question.
Okay.
This record was produced by Brandi Carlile and Tim and Phil Hanseroth. What was it like working with them again on this record? Incredible. We love working with them. They're dear friends of ours now. The first time we met them was 2011. So we're coming up on the 10-year anniversary of knowing them. And so, yeah, it just felt really natural to work together again on a record. We felt closer to them, I feel like, as people. And so it was more of a collaborative effort this time around. We felt like we had a little more say in things, and you know, we had more opinions this time around, I feel like. But it was great. They let us have a lot of liberties, and they were really great at guiding us when we needed that guidance. So
I think that my favorite part about, you know, now we've done 2 records with Brandy. We did our 3rd record with her and the Twins, and now our 4th record. And I think that consistently, my favorite thing about working with her and the Twins is that they know how to guide us into places that we would never be brave enough to go on our own, both in real life and in music. But it's really good because I think that we've learned maybe a confidence in ourselves, and it's really taught us to be a little more fearless than we typically would be. We like to play it safe. But Brandy and the Twins are so good about knowing our potential before we've even demonstrated it. And so we always feel like we just learn so much from them every time we're in the studio or on tour together.
We tend to want to be perfect on recordings. We want the harmonies to be perfectly in line and perfect thirds the entire time. And I feel like, especially with this record, we let go of that a little bit more, and we let the flaws show themselves. We were sick most of the time, so we had no choice.
That's true. That's true. And I think...
But that's part of the beauty, I think.
I think so, too. My favorite thing about this particular record, this body of work, it was not my favorite thing at the time, but when we went up to Seattle to start working on the record, you know, we showed Brandy and Tim and Phil all these songs, and they were... you know, super supportive, loved all the songs. But one of the things that Brandy, as a producer and an artist herself, really felt strongly about is that she felt we should record several of the songs where we weren't singing in tight 2-part harmony all the way through, which is a very terrifying place for the two of us because we rely on one another, we read one another, and we're just used to singing at the same time. But Brandy really felt that this record needed the dual perspectives and the dual voices to showcase the individuality of our voices and even our experiences that found their way into the songs. And I particularly was like, oh no, this is a terrible idea. This is not who we are. Who does Brandy think she is? But then we decided that we should listen to her, and we did just what she said, and we recorded some songs where Lydia sang completely alone, I sang completely alone, and it ended up being really, really special. And so there's, you know, like we intended, there are multiple layers and different perspectives and stories on the record that we wouldn't have gotten if we had done it the traditional way that we make records. So that is the value of having a very good producer who is not only a fan, but who understands kind of what you've done so far and how to transform and evolve with your next work.
Right, and who understands your songwriting style too. I think that's really important. Brandy is really great about helping us write bridges in particular.
Oh yes, that girl is a bridge queen.
She's a bridge queen. Anyways.
Sorry, should we be reading comments?
We'll play another song.
We're glad we listened to Brandy too. It's usually a good default. Yeah. Thank you, Andrea.
So,
y'all are so sweet. Man. So should we do another song?
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, we have more questions, but it's fine.
Oh wait, there are more questions?
There are, but we'll get to them.
Okay.
I feel like it's time for music.
All right.
This next song is from our newest record. Feel like it's pretty self-explanatory, and we'll talk a little bit more about it after we play it. It's called Nowhere Baby. It's no wonder that I'm here. There's a path made for my footsteps. That finish line is near. Though the years are passing quickly, I believe I'm on my way. But a voice beneath the surface still manages Made some money, made some friends, and some memories to hold. Crossed the mountains and the valleys, fought the swelter and the cold. From a different angle, maybe this adventure could seem grand, but the one I miss too often is being there to hold your hand. I'm getting nowhere, baby. I'm getting nowhere, baby. I'm getting nowhere, baby. I'm getting nowhere. I'm slowing down, but I'm not quitting. I'm looking hard and stepping back, but I will finish what I started. I will keep my suitcase packed. I'm just weary of the working, trading songs for fickle love. And it's time I showed myself exactly what I am made of. And that's not a cop-out, not a dream drop, not a close but no cigar. And it's not glamour and it ain't fortune, sometimes it ain't anything but hard. I'm not a robot, I'm a human, I'm not built to bear the weight. And I struggle with admitting when I need to walk away. I'm getting nowhere, baby. 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 I'm getting nowhere, baby.
Ah, thank you, everyone. You guys are so sweet.
Yeah, thank y'all for listening. And thanks again to American Songwriter for hosting us tonight.
With
today.
specific gratitude to Lauren Brumley, who saved
Hero.
us today, because music is simple, but everything else is hard. And technology is the hardest, and Lauren helped us immensely. Right. So, is there questions we should answer?
What advice would you give to aspiring songwriters? Oh man, I don't know if we're ones to give advice there, but you want to answer this one?
Advice to aspiring songwriters. Read books. I know that sounds strange to say, but from my own personal songwriting journey, I think that as a kid, I was one of those like obnoxious nerds who I didn't want to talk to people. I just wanted to read books all the time. And so I did. I was a huge book nerd growing up, and I loved my English classes, which is what losers say. I was not cool in school.
Thank goodness you are now.
I am much cooler now. But yeah, I read a lot of books, and I've always loved words and language, and the way that things, that sentences kind of work. I love cleverness. I love wit. I love underlying humor. And I think that my kind of affinity for that led me to where I am as a songwriter now. I'm certainly not where I want to be, but I think having literacy and an understanding of the English language is very beneficial in especially writing lyrical content. I don't fancy myself to be a very good musical writer. I don't thrive with melodies or harmonies, but Lydia is your girl on the melodies. Most of the melodies that you hear on our records are brainchildren of Lydia. So she's...
I love my children.
I love my
children.
my little melody children. Hey, you could have two kids and name them Melody and Harmony.
I won't do that. You can do it. You
I
can name
think-
yours Lyric.
Okay.
We're fine.
Yeah, this is normal everyday life for us. I think the biggest thing you can do if you want to be good at anything, and this is like the most common sense thing to say, but is just do it. Just do it. Even on days when you don't feel like doing it, even on days where you don't feel inspired or you hate what you come up with, try to do it as frequently as you can. And it used to be a lot easier to do that and have more of a discipline about it. But of course, as we've gotten older and, we've got responsibilities beyond our music creation that we have to kind of pay attention to. So I think trying to, find a flow and a discipline and a dedicated time, it's useful.
And I think taking the time to do something creative every day of the week, even if it's not writing lyrics, writing a song, write something, write poetry or paint or do something that accesses that side of your brain. I think that in a lot of ways and a lot of times that can open up other things, other ways to be creative. So, that's what I try to do anyways.
And this is going to sound really cheesy, but I definitely do think that it's useful to have a human muse that you have access to. So having my sister to write with, we love writing with other people as well, but it's like, even on days when we can't write with other songwriters, like we've got each other, and it helps to have that sounding board and that critic. Sometimes we're very critical of one another, but I think just having someone that you can go to, that you trust, who has good taste, that you line up with, is a really beneficial thing to have. Yeah. And we've certainly, I don't think that I would be the songwriter that I am if I didn't have my sister to write things with. So what guitar is that, and can I get one in the UK? This is a Collings guitar made in Austin, Texas. You could probably get one in the UK. You might have to order it.
OM1?
OM1. We had it made to our specifications, and we love it. And if you're ever in Austin and you want a really fun day, try to go see the Collings factory because it is magical. Do you ever argue about who sings which part of which song? Sometimes, because we have. Well,
I feel like it's pretty understood that you're gonna sing the melody and I'm gonna do harmony, because she has a very mid-range voice and I have a voice that can go really high and really low, but nothing in the middle. So it's kind of just what happens naturally.
But we also tend to argue about everything.
We just argue.
Just because it's like a sport for us.
Yes.
We don't ever fist fight. It's funny though, today.
We don't do any other sports. We just argue.
I was texting Lydia this morning. I was at my house and she was at our parents' house, and I was texting her and I was frustrated about something. I was like, "Oh, Lydia." And my husband said, "Why don't you guys just go ahead and have a fist fight already?" Because we've never done that. Mm-hmm. Well, there's that one time. We won't talk about that. This is a professional page.
That's right.
This is a very fancy audience that we need to try not to show our true colors to. Yeah, so sorry that we can't make it to Amsterdam, all of the places that we had planned in Europe. That's obviously not our preference. We wanted to carry on with our tour, but that virus has other plans for us, so Would you ever sing a song written for you by a fan asking for a friend?
Perhaps.
Potentially. It would depend on, kind of where we were. I think that's the biggest thing for us is that, if we're in the process of writing songs for a record, we tend to want those to be self-written, or at least a cover that, makes sense in the context of the record. But never say never. And we know you're good at music, so.
Scotland.
Yeah. All right.
We'll do one more question before this last song.
Okay.
Let's see. Maybe.
At what point did you two start writing songs together? After we got our record deal.
Yeah. Honestly, we got a record deal in record deal. It sounds so foreign.
I know, it sounds so weird to say record deal, but that's what it was.
Yeah, 10 years ago this year, we got a deal, and
Our first record deal.
And we had not written any songs together ever. Our first record was actually mainly covers, except for 2 songs that Laura wrote in college. What?
I was laughing at what Terry said.
And so we just kind of had to learn as we went along, and as we became and blossomed into artists, we just figured it out. And luckily, Laura's really great with words.
Thank you.
And so we tried it. For a while, we did a lot of co-writing sessions with other really, really good songwriters and learned from them. And then later on, we felt confident enough to try it ourselves. So yeah, I mean, I guess it was 2010, 2011 when we started writing.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously grew up together because we're sisters and we're the only kids that our parents had. So we always kind of did, music privately at home together, but we were never expecting that we would make a record or write songs for a record and put it out or tour. We never thought that was what our life would hold. So yeah, we never wrote songs growing up, but we could make some really fantastic Barbie houses.
We could.
I could tell the best Barbie story. I was really good at it.
We sang a lot of the 4 Seasons on road trips.
Yeah, we did a lot of that.
Yeah.
So that was the only creativity that we had together when we were kids, but we're making up for it now. So.
Okay. We're going to do one more song for y'all. Thank you guys for being patient with us and for waiting while we figured out how to do this and set it up.
These are strange times for all of us artistic people.
That's true. We are huge fans of American Songwriter. They've been really supportive of us for a really long time now.
And of just really great artistry. Like what a wonderful thing to celebrate the hard work of songwriting. I mean, maybe if you've never done it, it doesn't seem like hard work, but when you do it for a living, it can feel a little bit drudgery sometimes, but also like the greatest gift whenever people tell you that your song is a cathartic song or, a song that helps them feel less alone. So that's the rush that we always seek when we're going for the song. So, this last song is a song off of our new record that I will give credit where it is due. Lydia wrote this song in its entirety without me. And typically when we write songs, if one of us comes up with an idea, we bring it to each other, and then the other one, typically me, tears it apart and edits everything and changes it. I tend to be a little neurotic in that way, but Lydia came to me with this song and she was like, I wrote this song and I don't think it's finished. You might need to work on the second verse, whatever. So she performed the song for me, actually in this very studio. She performed this song for me a couple years ago, and I cried and cried the entire time she was playing it, and I said, if you change any part of that song, you're going to ruin it. So don't change it. It's perfect as it is. And I told her that we needed to show it to Brandy to put on our record. And so Brandy loved the song when we showed it to her, and she said, this song definitely needs to be on the record, but the only caveat is that rather than letting Lydia sing the song that she wrote, Laura, you have to sing it. And I was extremely pregnant at the time and very emotional, and I could hardly get through the recording of this song. I remember standing in Brandy's garage into the microphone, just hoping I did not get snot all over her expensive microphone, because I was just, it was coming out of every pore and my heart.
Okay.
I was very emotional in that moment. But this song is emotionally charged for us because it's about our grandmothers. If you don't know the story, which most of our fans do, we were very close to both of our grandmothers for our entire lives. And a couple years ago, they both got cancer. Within a couple weeks of each other, they got their diagnosis, and then they both fought their respective diseases until about 6 months later, they both passed away within a couple weeks of each other. And so for us, as grown women who were very cognizant of their influence and their guidance and their presence, it was very tragic to lose both of them in the way that we did. And it was a grief that we are still actually wading through after all this time. And so with Mother's Day coming up, it's a little bit of a bittersweet holiday for us because we miss them. And we're also simultaneously celebrating our first Mother's Day as mothers. And we also want to, of course, acknowledge that we know that even though we celebrate moms, this time of year and all year, we're always aware of the people who are our mothers whose children are not here, people whose mothers are not here anymore, people who want to be mothers and can't be, and every form of mother and maternity, because that is such an important job. So we want to play this song and send it out to anybody who is walking through something hard right now and looking for a little bit of hope. This song.
Beverly said she's passing out tissues. So.
Okay, if anybody needs a tissue, just go to Beverly's house. Go get you a snot rag.
Sorry.
All right. Yeah, this song is called Healer in the Sky.
Patio, sliding down the hill in the winter snow. Now you look at me, lines upon your face. That was years ago. Now you take my place, and I don't have a doubt you will be alright, 'cause I know there's a healer in the sky. When my candle burns out, you will be alright, 'cause I know there's a healer in the sky, healer in the sky. That book you gave me took me half a day. Bring another bite when you're on your way. Got my own ideas about the end of time. Still I am always yours, and you are always mine. And I don't have a doubt you will be alright, 'cause I know there's a healer in the sky. When my candle burns out, you will be alright, 'cause I know there's a healer in the sky, healer in the sky. I loved my husband, I loved my neighbors, I loved my children, and I loved a Savior. So I'll take my chances on the sky, healer in the sky, healer in the sky, healer in the sky.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Yes, thank you for tuning in.
Again, thank you to American Songwriter for hosting. We hope we can do this again.
Yes.
But we also really hope we can come and play for you in person soon enough.
We're ready for that, and I know that we'll all be so happy to see each other again when it's time to, when it's safe to. So everyone, please stay healthy. Please wash your hands. Please practice social distancing when you can.
Yes.
And keep listening to good music to get you through it, and we'll see you when it's all said and done.
Yeah. Thanks,
Bye,
guys.
everyone.